Lexis UME Use of English 1983, and I've checked the UME past question and UME now called UTME. And if you check the past question, you'll notice that there is a section of lexis and structure, but I will be talking about the aspect of the use of idioms and expressions like that are kind of figurative. So I'll start off with the year of 1983, question number 26. So let's get started. We have here question 26 to 34. Choose the option nearest the meaning to the underlined. But before we go into this question, I would just like to give us a brief review of what we're going to be talking about. Now we've got this question 26. The story has to be taken with a grain of salt. This means that, okay, with a grain of salt is what? A grain of salt, with a grain of salt is an idiom, and an idiom is a phrase or expression that has a meaning in most cases cannot be deduced directly from the individual words in that phrase or expression. So what does this mean? This means that an idiom is a phrase that if you look at the words or the components of the expression, the words that makes up the expression, if you look at it and you try to think about the meaning literally, it's not the same as what the whole of the expression means. For instance, and the expression raining cat and dog, if you think about the word literally, it means if you go outside, then it's raining cats and dog. Cat and dog are falling off from the sky, but that is not what that expression means. What that expression means is that it's raining really hard, or it's raining really heavily. So that is what that means. So you don't take idioms. Idioms does not have if we try to think about them literally, it's very much different to what they actually mean, and they are kind of similar to figurative expressions because, as a matter of fact, they take their roots, or they originated from figure of speech, but they are not figure of speech. The main difference between an idiom and a figure of speech is that an idiom, when you look at it, it might not really make sense to you. Just like I explained with the raining cat and dogs. But if you look at a figure of speech can make sense to you when you look at when you take a look at a figure of speech. So an idiom is figurative in nature, but it is not a figure of speech. So back to the matter. The story has to be taken with a grain of salt. This means that, first and foremost, you've got to understand what with a grain of salt mean. Now, the actual idiom is grain of salt or pinch of salt. Now, what it means is it means to view something with skepticism or not to interpret something literally. So, what does skepticism mean? Skepticism means to question, or a questioning attitude or doubt towards one or more putative knowledge. When you're questioning something, when you have a doubt about something, then you are taking that thing with a grain of salt. So here, the story has to be taken with a grain of salt means that the story is questionable. That means you're questioning the story. It's questionable. You're having a doubt about the story. So that's for that. Okay, let's move to the next question. it's usually hard to change the course of action when one crosses the Rubicon. The underlined expression as used in this sentence means to. So first thing first, you've got to understand what does it mean to cross the Rubicon. The expression cross the Rubicon means to make an irreversible decision or to take an action with consequences. So if in this expression we are told it is usually hard to change the course of action when one crosses the Rubicon. The underlying expression as used in this sentence means to be irrevocably committed. Irrevocably committed. If you are irrevocably committed, that means you are unable to retract your commitment to a particular course of action. So it's stated here, it is usually hard to change the course of action when one crosses the Rubicon. Means you are that means it's that means that means to be irrevocably committed. So that's for that. The next slide, we have here. Okay, the next slide we have here. The salesman tried to pull the wool over my eyes. This implies that salesman tried to. Just to point out something for some of us that are usually pedantic about some things. There's nothing like salesman. I think the Jamb board or the person that said this question made a mistake here, because even if you look at it, they say that this implies that the salesman tried to. So this is a typo here. So I just wanted to point that out for some of us that are usually very detailed about some things. So that just so you know, there's nothing like salesman. What we've got is salesman. So back to the matter. Now the expression to pull the wool over my eyes means what? Now the idiomatic expression is pull the wool over someone's eyes. You could say it's an adage. It's a phrase, and it means to deceive someone, especially to gain an advantage. Or you can say to deceive someone in order to prevent them from discovering something. So if you try to pull the wool over my eyes, it implies that you are trying to dupe me, because you're trying to deceive me. So that is what that means. The next one is Ijoma counted her chickens before they were hatched. This means that. Now the expression or the phrase that we need to know is count one's chicken before they hatch. Count one chicken before they hatch. Now to count one chickens before they hatch is to celebrate or plan, or begin to take advantage of a potential positive future outcome before it has happened or been accomplished. That means you are basing your outcome now on an initial thing that you've done, that thing is going to come out positively. So that means you've already assumed that your initial action is going to come out the way you want it to be. So if Ijema counted her chickens before they hatch, that means that she assumed that her expectations had already been realized. So the next one is Solo has resigned his job with the Textile Mills. It doesn't seem to worry about getting another job. His plans are still quite in the air. This means that his plans are. Now, the expression here is in the air. Now, in the air means is happening or about to happen or going to happen. As most of us must have heard before, whenever they say, "Oh, love is in the air, love is in the air," that means that is about to happen or that is happening. Now, another way you can also think about this in the air, which sometimes can be described as up in the air, is it means uncertain or not yet decided. So when you say something is up in the air, maybe it's up in the air, it's in the air. When something is up in the air, it can also mean that that thing is uncertain or has not yet been decided upon. So in this case, our answer is uncertain. That means solo plans is uncertain. So the next one is Ike is head over heels in love with Ngozi. This means that, okay, the expression we've got to understand here is head over heels. Head over heels means tumbling upside down or somersaulting. In another context, it can also mean madly in love. So if Ike is head over heels in love with Ngozi, that means, of course, Ike is friendly with Ngozi, is out of the option. Ike is trying to fall in love with Ngozi. No, Ike is madly in love with Ngozi. He is not trying to fall in love with her. So Ngozi fell on Ike's heels. No, that's out of it. The answer is Ike is madly in love with Ngozi. 32. The legislator has decided to play second fiddle after he had been walked out of the assembly for violating basic procedure of the House. This means that the legislator has decided to. Now, to play us, let's think about it first. Second fiddle means a role played by an assistant to someone else. So to play second fiddle means, actually, it means to be less important or in a weaker position than someone else. So if you think about it, if you're playing a role to assist someone, that means you are taking direction. Most of the time, you take directions from the person. So a very good example is the vice president that assists the president. So I believe most of the time, the president gives direction to the vice president. So in this case, that means he will have to support the lead given by others. So that is for that. The next one is 33. Old customs die hard. This implies that old customs. Now, the expression we've got to understand is die hard. Die hard means disappear or change very slowly, or take a long time to cease to exist, or be dropped from consideration. As a noun, you can define it as someone who is unwilling to change or give up their ideas or ways of behaving, even when there are good reasons to do so. I believe most of you must have heard guys or people saying that, "Oh, I'm a die-hard fan of this club, I'm a die-hard fan of that club." As a matter of fact, I myself am a die-hard fan of Manchester United Football Club, and I can remember when this season started, and that was actually interrupted by the COVID-19 pandemic. When the whole thing started, Manchester United was losing to lesser teams in terms of qualities of players that they have, in terms of the quality of players that they've got, and was like I was heartbroken so many times that Manchester United were losing, especially the times that they were not winning many trophies like they used to back in the past decade. So you've got that. And I'm like, oh God, Manchester United. But that never stopped me from loving the club. That never stopped me from sticking with the club. And towards the end of as the season was coming, to an end, We started winning, which was a good thing, and we beat Manchester City home and away. Woo! Anyway, enough for that of that. So for old custom to die, that means it tends to last longer, because for something to last longer, it means it changed very slowly. So that's for that. We've got the next one. The next one is the convict said he was tired of leading a dog's life. To lead a dog's life means to live, is it carelessly, in disgrace and solitude, in misery, in poverty. Now, the phrase we need to understand is lead a dog's life, which means to have an unhappy, boring, difficult, or harassed existence. Now, if you think about it, for you to have an unhappy, boring, difficult, and also harassed existence, that means you are in misery. So the answer is in misery. Now you may want to think that, oh, that means the person is in poverty. No, being in poverty does not necessarily mean that you have an unhappy or boring or harassed existence. Some people live in poverty and they are good with what they've got, and they have a happy life and they are not harassed. So that is for that. So this is the end of this video. I'm your tutor Sanni. Hopefully I'll come up with another video to continue on this series. Thanks guys for watching. See you next time.